Thank you, Chair. I will talk about four things. Firstly, this being a failed experiment. Secondly, about this being about the bit to the iceberg we can see. Thirdly, briefly about due process. And finally, about the false alternative that's been painted as what will happen next. This council has done an experiment. It has put someone inexperienced in a really key role, someone who's overconfident. And it's not been a success. The current leader has been doing everything possible to get on TV, in the media, photo opportunities, but hasn't been doing the serious work. Now, we know after the murders of Joe Cox and Martin Amis that most of us have to be so careful about what we do and say and what we write on social media, and we should be careful about misrepresenting our opponents. I've emailed the Conservative group because obviously I have concerns about what's happened. I know they are effectively kingmakers today. We've got lots of stuff that's been happening. I think we only see the tip of the iceberg about what's going on and some of the incidents, but we have the stern stands, the boots on necks, the letters to the chief police officers, the attacks on schools and universities, the undermining our social workers, our NHS. Yeah, this should be more than enough to stop this dangerous experiment. I say, we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's lots of stuff will obviously come up later on. But we see enough to know this is going badly wrong and the experiment should be halted. I think it's a bit like a driving lesson. Yeah, someone's taken a driving lesson or maybe a driving exam and they've run off the road and mounted the curb. Now, if you do that and you're learning, if you admit your mistake, you've learned something and you drive better. Unfortunately, this leader thinks he hasn't done anything wrong. On these radio and TV interviews, he says, we haven't made any mistakes. And that's the big problem. It's not that Councillor Finch has been over-keen, made mistakes, etc., and has understood that. He seems to think we can just carry on the same. And it is so important we get the leadership right. The leadership is a unique position in this council. This is about confidence in the leadership. This vote doesn't actually change you from being a councillor. It doesn't stop you being on the cabinet or even deputy leader. But the leader is a unique position. And we need to talk about the alternative. There's a false narrative that seems to be saying that Jonathan or maybe one of the Lib Dems or even myself will become council leader. Now, if you look in the chamber, there are 30-odd of you on that side. The only way this will be a left-wing radical takeover is if all 30 of you decide that none of you want to be leader. You'll actually decide to let me or Jonathan or Sarah or someone be leader instead. Now that would be great, but I'm like a dreadful leader. And I have the advantage of knowing. And the great thing is, unlike Councillor Finch, I know I'd make a dreadful leader. If someone did appoint me as leader, I would take lots of advice and do it slowly and cautiously. Because like when you learn to drive a car, you drive carefully and slowly to start with. And the problem is Councillor Finch hasn't driven slowly and carefully. He's been a bit like a bull in the china shop during his first 9 months. And I see disaster coming. So I ask the Conservatives, please, please, can we change the leader? It is entirely your responsibility. It's like letting someone drive a car and they aren't quite ready to drive it on their own. So I ask you, please man up and actually swap the leadership over. One of you on that side of the chamber must surely want to keep the salaries, and I don't want to change the leadership in terms of party. I just want someone who's more responsible and experienced doing the key job at the top. Thank you, Chair.